Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 17th of January, comes to you from London. And we saw gas prices in Europe plummeting yesterday. We've got UK gas prices down another couple of percent this morning, and yet it's minus 2 degrees. So it's incredible that we're seeing these falls in prices. But the reality is, we've got high storage. In gas, we've got LNG tankers waiting, and we have had so far a relatively mild winter. So demand is down, supply is up, and we're seeing the prices plummet. But the reality is these targets have been in place for some time. We see here, this is the daily cloud chart. We crossed into bearish territory in September, and we've been below the 60-minute cloud chart for weeks on end. It's just been down, downward pressure on prices, and with lots of targets. Here we see a target when we're at 65 given to 51, and we've touched that 51 level, so really quite key. You cannot ignore the price targets, and this was on the daily chart. And the question I've had so many people asking me, I posted this on LinkedIn yesterday, so many people asking me, how low will gas go? It's really simple. You just open the chart and press the T key, and the targets are there for you. This is the half a euro chart. 42 is the target, and if we look at the 1x3, 42 is the target there as well. So we saw this 72 target, and that 42 target, by the way, was put in place way ago. We have to go right the way up the chart to look at where that target was given. It was given at 240. So no one believed that target was there. You cannot ignore these targets when you see them. And the same there with that 72 target, that was met. And so that's where we're looking to on the longer term. And of course, in the shorter term, this is where we get our heads up. So this is the 1 minute chart. And if you're trading gas short term, this is where you need to be looking, and you just vary the box size here. So we've got a downside target to 48.50. This is the 0.1 euro, so the 10 euro cents chart. If we go up in size, we lose the targets, but if we go lower, so we go the other way, you've got to vary the box sizes. Interestingly, we had these downside targets. That one to 51.65 was given at 56 yesterday. That was met. This one at 52.95 was given yesterday as well when we were sitting at 57. That was met. These targets, you cannot ignore them. We've got a new mini upside target. That's an upside target in a downtrend. So we would not be surprised to see that 55 level not met. Remember, the confirmation of targets is really important. And if you want to understand these targets properly, you need to do my point and figure course. And let me know if you want to do that, and I'll just put you on the course, because really you need to know what you're playing with here. But the reality is these targets have been in place, and you just cannot ignore them. We'll come back and look at the energy mix at the end, but let's go and have a look at what the main markets have been doing. Remembering that Updata is running, it runs on multiple different data sources, hence Updata. I'm running on Refinitiv Icon. You can run on Bloomberg, Tradeport. The choice is yours. You just choose the data service you want, you configure it on the fly, and then you just run on over 40 different data services. You just plug them in, and so it just means that you've got this power to utilize the data that you've already got, whether it's Tradeport, Bloomberg, Icon, doesn't really matter what it is. And of course we have real-time broker data. We have data from OTC Global Holdings for all European gas and power markets, and we include that as standard with our professional and enterprise edition. So you can cover all the different contracts both in the UK and Europe. We go right the way down into Eastern Europe, Greece, Slovakia, all of these different markets. So it's really quite key. But I'm running on Refinitiv Icon and a whole series of other services. You can see these services across my screen here. I can bring them in and cross compare these data services as well, which is really powerful. So looking at the dollar index, we see here we're still below this 105 level, 102. Notice how these targets have been met. This is my weekly, daily and 60-minute, my corresponding point and figure target. So notice how these targets have been met. They were given earlier in the year, and we're just meeting those targets. We've got a new target below 100 on the dollar index, so that's really significant. It will show up on the shorter term targets first, and we're seeing how we turned bearish here once we fell through in October, and we called an end to the dollar A year ago, we said the dollar was going to run. Now it's changed, and that's the beauty of charts, as you can see when the situation has changed. The euro is sitting at 108, just hitting some cloud resistance there on the weekly. Has some work to do on that short-term chart, but we do have a target on the euro of 114.91. Hard to believe, but that's what that short-term target is. Now, what I want to see is more and more targets coming in and corroborating that target. Sterling sitting at 122. It's been pretty static at this level against the dollar. We see the chart there flat on the 60-minute. So interesting to see that there. And if we look at sterling euro, we see here we're pretty flat as well. The interesting one was that Bitcoin, that was breaking the $20,000 level yesterday. It's gone on to go higher. We had these targets on Bitcoin. 22,000 is the target. That target is still being pushed. That target was given at 17.7. So really quite key that we've seen that leap in prices, the target being met. We've still got the downside targets hanging over us. We've got lots of new short-term upside targets. The FTSE future is actually down this morning. We are very close to making a new high on the UK market. And note the targets there, really quite key there as well. The DAX in Germany's had a great run on these lower energy prices, really has a big impact on Germany, and we are seeing the DAX just pushing higher, not quite above the weekly cloud yet, but looking pretty good. And markets pretty mixed. We saw the Chinese market down, Japan was slightly up, the Sensex in India was up 1%, still looking great from a long-term perspective, having made new highs with big upside targets. And then we look at some of the commodities. Gold has fallen back to 1906. As long as we hold that 1900 level, there is resistance on gold potentially at 1950. We've got multiple targets to there. Watch those targets. The same applies to silver. We're just back below the $24 level, so that's quite key. So all eyes will be on the US Open. We were closed yesterday, of course, with Martin Luther King Day, and we are just seeing the futures down. The S&P future down 0.3%, the Nasdaq future down just under 0.5%. So it does suggest US markets are going to open lower. Looking back at the energy mix, we look at Brent Crude. So we see here on Brent Crude, we are still bearish below the cloud on the daily, but on the 60-minute chart, we've been bullish above the cloud. We actually went out as neutral to clients. We feel this trend is slowing down. We put our report out to clients this morning as neutral, and so just watching these multiple targets kicking in. US Nat Gas, we were bullish out to clients this morning, and that was in our report. You can go and see the reports in Updata Energy News. So we put that report out this morning, and you can see here we were bullish on today's key levels. So that's quite key as well. So coming back to the energy mix, we see here that we've got Brent Crude pushing higher. Nat Gas pushing higher with those upside targets. And if we look at coal, that's really fallen away. Coal has halved in the last few months, and that's had a real impact. We're seeing the fuels side of the business really falling away. Emissions, we felt we'd go lower today. We've got lots of downside targets. We're just holding the levels there, but these downside targets are pretty hard to ignore on the 1-minute chart. Back into the low 70s, so that's kind of quite key. 74, 74, 70, 77, 76. There's lots of targets that just gives you an idea that we're falling lower. We talked about TTF. MBP, also lower. We've got lots of downside targets there, so one to watch. Although we were neutral today, we just felt that we probably fell enough yesterday, but the picture is still bearish. And German power nudging the 150 euro mark at the moment, so really quite key there. Again, we've got some really ridiculous targets there, but if you want to play with the targets, just press the T key on your chart, and then you see there. So we've got these targets to play for, and just go up until you get the box sizes. But really do this on your OTC data and look at the 1-minute charts. That's where you're going to find the power. But for the moment, all eyes are on gas markets, down 3% on TTF as we speak. Keep an eye on those charts. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, remember you can sign up at chartstoday.co.uk, or if you want, chartstoday.com, or if you want a trial of Updata running on whatever data services you already have. Really simple. Just go to the Updata website, updata.co.uk, and you can download a trial from there. And of course, chartstoday.com is where you can follow me every day. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.